What's up, LinkedIn? It's Thomas Bailey with Relotrans Auto Relocation. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. I had the opportunity a few months ago to sit down with Susan Benevides, the CEO of Plus Relocation. The company's been doing great things in the industry. Susan has been at the helm of this great company for quite some time now, and they're doing amazing things. She sat down with me and talked about where she feels like the industry is going from a relocation management standpoint, what the RMC of today can do to help tomorrow. She gives us one of her keys to success, something that definitely resonated with me. Something about jumping into a lake, I think she did, kind of crazy. Please let me know if you like the new format. There's questions on there so you can follow along much easier. Love you all. Have a great day.
So we are a full-service relocation management company, global relocation. We're headquartered out of Minneapolis. We have offices in London, Hong Kong, and Shanghai, and then remotely all over the US as well. Mm-hmm. We just celebrated 50 years of business last year in business. So it was a year full of gratitude for all the people who have helped us get along the way, people like yourself, Relotrans, all the suppliers and the clients and friends and partners who have helped us continue to grow and be successful. And we're just really grateful and looking forward to the next 50. It's number one. I mean, we believe that our employees are our greatest assets, and how we treat each other and how we treat the people who work with us. You know, like I said before, we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for partners like yourself who really understand how we want to deliver service. And, you know, foundationally, it all comes back to our vision, mission, and values. It's not just a sign that hangs on the wall here. It is ingrained in everything we do. We just focus on, you know, transformation and delivering delight and our values. When you have a common goal and a common vision that everybody can get behind, and you share that with the partners that you work with, it really helps to create that consistent high level of service, but also respect and appreciation, and it is what has allowed us to grow so successfully. You know, there was a lot of autonomy, obviously, being in a family business, and a lot of respect for women. And, you know, I grew up with a really strong and really business-oriented mother who taught me at a young age that this is what you do. I think she faced a lot more than I did, but she probably didn't have someone like herself in front of her to help her along the way. I would say that there could have been perceived challenges. So I remember, just as I was growing in the role and becoming president, I looked around at just a lot of the relocation management companies, and a lot of them at that time were really run by men, and a lot of the executive committee was men. There became more coming in, which was great, but I could have taken that as something I wanted to fight against. Mm-hmm. But instead I leaned into it, and some of those male leaders at my competition ended up to be some of my really close friends, great advocates for me, great advocates for our company. And so for me, it was just, I decided that I wasn't going to look at it as a battle I had to fight. It was, you know, well, just could do it differently. And I didn't question my ability to do that. I mean, I think early on when I became president, my bigger fear was, are people going to think I just got this because I'm a member of the family? And how do I prove that I deserve this? But I think based on where the company's gone, things have gone pretty well in that area.
I've been watching you at these conferences and things like that. I mean, not like hiding in the bushes watching.
Not stalking.
It's not stalking. I just follow you around a little bit here and there. But what motivates you? I mean, because I know that so many people respect you, and it shows. But what keeps you motivated?
I love change. And I think a lot of people say they do, but they actually don't. And I watch it, you know, they have trouble with change. But I like change for seeing the possibilities of what could be. So what motivates me is finding totally unconventional ways of doing something
Mm.
and imagining the impossible. I love to go take a problem that could be looked to be really hard to solve, and those are my favorite moments, is when there's a challenge in front of me to say, well, why don't we break this? Even though it's been done in our industry for 30 years, what if we did it different? What if we challenged the status quo and tried something different? And that's what motivates me. I get very excited. I spend a lot of time watching companies outside of our industry. That's where I get my inspiration. I love to watch the stories of the Airbnbs and the Ubers and
Right.
how they went into pretty traditional industries and broke the model. And so for me, I'm always like, how could I break this model? And that's what keeps me motivated. I think we're at a pivotal time.
Yeah.
I think this is where I stand on this. I think that the traditional services we've offered, the traditional ways of offering those services aren't meeting the needs of the employees anymore. There's a reason that people are saying, just give me the cash, because you may be giving them, we've been giving them the same 10 to 12 benefits over and over again, and then wondering why there are exceptions and wondering why they just rather take the cash. And I don't think people have sat down to figure out, the way of doing this has changed. It's all parts of our industry. Airbnb has impacted our industry. The way people look at furniture and they don't look at it as an asset anymore. It's something that needs to be sold before you move. Even the importance of pets, home ownership. I mean, I can go across the board, but I think that what people want an experience, they don't want a list of benefits. So our industry that's challenged as a relocation management companies, I think, for sure, because we've been so reliant on some of those revenue streams from that supply chain, that we have to realize that that's not going to come back anytime soon if people don't want that. Assume that nobody wants anything we're offering. What would we offer instead? That's what we've been asking, is if we could have offered you anything in the world, what would you have wanted?
Right. Right.
You know what renters want? They want their apartments cleaned before they leave. Over the last 12 to 15 months, we've been doing these qualitative interviews saying, what do you wish we would have done that we didn't do? What did you not like that we did? What do you wish you would have gotten that you didn't get? And why'd you take the cash? If I could have given you a list of 200 benefits that were really cool and unique, and you could have pieced it together yourself, would you have picked something else? And so what we're realizing is that you've got to listen to the customer, and that's who we've been spending all of our time doing qualitative and quantitative interviews to find out what it is the customer wants. And the reality is, a lot of what we've all been doing is not working for them anymore. And so we can continue to do it. If your company is really going to grow, you can't just focus on taking the things you have today and making them better, because some of those things are becoming archaic.
Right.
And so you can spend a lot of time and energy focus on, well, let's make this product better. Well, if nobody wants the product, they don't even want a better product.
Right.
So you have to continually improve internally, but you also have to spend an equal amount of time saying, what does the future say we need?
Right.
And it's beyond just taking what you have and making, well, we'll just make a better, this cup here. Well, I'll just make a better cup. No, what if I don't want cups anymore, and I wanted something completely different? What would I do? And that's what really truly innovative companies do, is they say, break out of the mold that we've been in. Don't just continue to make go make 2 tweaks to your policy, and now it's all the problems are going to be solved if people don't like the policy in the first place. I think lump sums have a place.
Yeah.
And I think it's for people that where, really all you're giving them is essentially a miscellaneous allowance to try to cobble some things together and get to the new location. In all the research we've done, people take the lump sum or they ask for the cash even at a high level because the benefits you're giving them aren't working. I talked to this executive who decided to do a large lump sum. And I said, well, why did you do that? And they said, well, I got this great benefit package, and about 2 things applied to me. Because my living situation, our primary home was in London. We had a secondary home in Florida. I was moving to California. So all those things that were really nice and beneficial, I passed on. And so I said, so you took the cash, how was that? And he goes, awful. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have time. Yeah, it was cash, but I still had I didn't get the support I needed. So he said, I felt like I was at a loss. Everybody who was helping me was helpful, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the cash, but the cash was so much better than the two options that actually would have worked for me. Another executive who was moving from Atlanta to California, and I said, so what do you wish you would have had that you didn't have? And they said, I wish somebody would have sold all my furniture for me. She said, yeah, I was moving to a smaller place. My big furniture in Atlanta in the big home wasn't going to work in Southern California. And she said, I wish I would have had somebody to sell my furniture. And I said, so what'd you do? And she said, I had the company ship it. I stored it for 90 days and then I sold it. So how much money did the company spend on something that they didn't want, but because they didn't offer them what they needed, it would have been a win-win for both the company and the employee. So that's where we're spending our time, is just really understanding the voice of the customer. And you can't find that on a survey.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're asking questions that say, hey, give me a good score so I can show the client that we're performing, instead of saying, what do you wish we would have never done? What bothered you about what we did?
Yep.
So one of the things that we've been doing here is when we are working on significant projects, we've really incorporated design thinking into our organization. So when we're working on a significant project, we actually went out and to the whole entire company and said, these are the attributes and the skill sets we're looking for. If you think you'd be a good part of this team, please apply. And we chose like 10 people from all over the organization to participate in these projects, because I'm a big fan of less about generational, but different thinking. I like different ideas. And I've met some millennials that have like-minded like everybody else. So I don't really get into the generation as much as I get into just the different diversity and background. I think that, someone who's been in a completely different field can bring so much insight into what it is we can do. So I guess I look at cross-functional teams in a different way. When we are really become a matrix organization where, you may be, working on this, but you have a side project where you're helping us build a technology platform that has nothing to do with what your everyday job is. So that's really where I focus on my energies, or we do as a company, is I want varying perspectives. In fact, I get real nervous if a bunch of tenured people are in a room making decisions, because we don't have enough fresh insight. So that's where we want to go out and get totally different perspectives. And it's been really, if I think back to the ELO, there's a couple people who started on that team who were really on the operational side of things. And they had a passion for the product and the technology. And there's a couple of people who created brand new jobs I would have not even known we had in this office because of their involvement in those projects and the strengths and the way they became so passionate about it. We realized, gosh, we've got to keep them on as part of this, because they're such a critical part of the future of every new wave of ELO. I haven't seen much, but we're creating one.
Okay. All right.
So we're in the middle of, that's what we've been buried in the last 15 months. We're working with a client to completely transform the way they're doing their business. And we're focused solely on experience. And so we started really with the design thinking. What problem are we trying to solve for? And a lot of it was what we're giving them doesn't work. And then we created a technology platform that really makes it complete user experience. I think, if I look at our competition, there are some out there that I think have done a really good job of innovating or creating a better solution that kind of already existed somewhere else. So I think there's a lot of improvement on products. Like I even look at our ELO and we can keep improving it, but that wasn't necessarily a disruptor. And so I think it was just a better way of doing the business we did. And it kind of goes back to what I said before. You've got to continue to focus on continuous improvement with what you've got, but then you've got to allow some time in your organization to completely leapfrog where you are and create something transformational. I was kind of voluntold that I'd be doing that, but
Okay, all right.
and they like to do things at my expense, but you know, we were really excited. We put out a challenge out there to raise $25,000 for Children's International, which really goes to help low income and third world people to get different education, which I mean, that's the future, right? That is our future. And there's so many people who lack the ability and the means or even the connections to get something like that. And so we set a goal out in October to raise 25,000 and we would match it. And we did hit the match. So we'll be donating 25,000 to that. So Children's International would be receiving 50,000 for us for scholarship.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So that's worth a jump in a lake. It's a small sacrifice for the greater good.
Can you give us one key to success before we get off this call?
Worry is a waste. My father taught me that. And I think a lot of people struggle to be able to be successful and to try new things because they worry about all the things that could go wrong. And the truth of the matter is, worry is a waste. And I live in that and I stay very present. I can only handle with what I've got in front of me today, but I've teaching myself not to worry, which gives me a lot more freedom, I think, to be innovative because it's worth failing forward. And that's another one I watch. It's okay to fail forward. It's okay to try something. Better to try something than not try at all.
You're ready for that one, I think.
No.
Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Thomas.
I really appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, well, thank you to you and your company for being such a loyal and wonderful partner and helping us be who we are today. So please, my best to everyone at your company, and we really appreciate the partnership.
Well, I appreciate that as well. I'll let them know.